guys.
I took it away.
Can I have your attention, guys? Sit down, everybody, please. Okay, so as you know, our project is on linear relations, which is basically chapter 5. So as Mr. Arkin said,
And chapter 8.
And chapter 8. So as Mr. Arkin said, we should teach ourselves before we teach the other class. So could I have some suggestions regarding how we can teach ourselves? Any suggestions?
Maybe some like handouts that you could give to the class, and then we read it over if we have a test. I don't know, maybe the last day before the break.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Why don't we just use the materials that we create for the academic class and go with that?
Yeah, that would be a pretty smart idea. You have to raise your hand. You don't have to raise your hand. Give it suggestions.
You could also teach ourselves, like, take 10 minutes of the period and then tell us all the stuff, and then maybe we'll have like, they teach us to like take 10 minutes out of the period, and then they tell us, and we listen and we talk about the notes.
Well, here's kind of the idea. Since we're only teaching on 2 and 4, the day before, let's say, okay, so group 1 is teaching on the 5th of January, so we could teach ourselves on the 4th, and then we just still rotate, like, group 1 would teach our class on the 4th, and then we teach the academic, and then, you know, we're going to choose the
Oh, would you guys want formal lessons or just like informal? Okay. So what we can do is while we're doing it, we can like go home and look over chapter 5 and 8, like just review it and stuff, and then we can have more class-oriented things regarding chapter 5 and 8. So, yeah.
How are we going to teach ourselves?
No, like we can just look over chapter 5 and 8 because like some pages are self-explanatory.
Maybe like
No, Dave.
maybe like we can teach group teachers like for a certain like if we can have a period, one period just for teach ourselves, and maybe like each group can do a little bit of their content.
Yeah.
Melanie's percent idea was really good too. Each group can sort of teach the class before teaching.
So we'll just practice while we're
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, before teaching. Well, whoever came late, we're just having a discussion on how we can teach the class on chapter 5 and 8. Yeah. So, any other suggestions? Any other final suggestions?
What we can make like each group we get like a couple questions from their section, and then we can put it into a booklet and then we can answer the question. That could also be something that you can evaluate.
Like
Like put it all into a book.
like a test of some sorts, or
Not really a test.
Like
Instead of
just
having a test, we like make
just
it into like a
worksheet.
booklet or something, and then we hand the booklet into Mr. Arkin to make sure that
Oh,
he
like
knows
that
that we
would-
know it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
Somehow this became, I do the marking?
No, okay, like we'll do it.
I know.
Yeah, we can.
But can you like look it over to see if it's like
Of course.
different material?
Of course. In terms of questions, you have a textbook full of questions, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to generate new questions. But each of you needs to be able to answer all of the questions in the textbook. Does that make sense?
I think we should have a day where we all put like all of our ideas together, but like in worksheets so that we can practice them over break.
Great, yeah.
I really like the idea of you having a practice session with your own class before you meet with academic class. I think that's a brilliant idea. And building on Nora's idea, maybe it would be a good idea for you to do some of that next week. Maybe a way for you to see if the materials that you've been preparing are going to work. Because you need to think, maybe you need to take out your agenda books again and look at when the EQAO is. So we always hope for the best, but we need to plan for the worst. Does that make sense? So if we discover, whoa, we don't know anything about linear relations, when do we want to discover that? Do we want to discover it the day before the EQAO, or do you want a couple of weeks before the EQAO? Obviously, right? So maybe you could look at your agenda books, and you could come up with something suitable. I'm agreeable. Whatever you think is reasonable, I'm willing to go along with. But I don't want you to. You're doing a great job preparing these materials, and you're having a lot of fun, and it's fabulous. But I don't want you to get caught short, because that would be a disappointment to everyone, right? All this hard work, and then definitely make sure you do it. So, have you got your agenda books? Do you want to see what you can? Give the floor back to Michelle and see what you come up with. No, I think we've had this discussion informed by the calendar.
Okay, so
Because one of the suggestions I heard was that you do some work next week to make sure we've got it.
so
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
oh, you can go.
If how many people think that they've already acquired the skills on the skills inventory? Let the camera show that there are no hands raised. So, maybe that's the question. When are you going to acquire these skills? It would be difficult for you to teach the material if you don't have the skills yourself, and you've got a comprehensive skills inventory. So maybe you can have some conversation about that.
Okay, so is anybody thinking of the dates for next week or all next week?
Like not like every period, the whole period, but like 30 times a week.
2 periods next week are short, right? Because Wednesday you have an early dismissal, and Friday you have an early
Like
dismissal.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
So Wednesday, I think the periods are 45 minutes. I haven't checked for
They are.
Friday. The same thing, 45 minutes?
I have a question about the early dismissal. Do we come to school at the same time?
Yes, we'll start at the same time, but we leave Wednesday and Friday.
Friday. Okay, so would you want it at the, like when we first come to class, we start doing it, or do you want a little time to work on your project, and then we could start the lesson?
You're like halfway.
Okay, so like.
I think we should start.
Start like with 5 minutes.
You should do that and then
Oh yeah.
After you finish, you can work on your own.
Okay, so how like what was the duration of like the?
half an hour.
No, I think we need more than
You should just give the people like period.
So would you want Monday and Thursday for like the whole period
Yeah.
to teach?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Let's switch off the cameras for a minute.